What up? How is everybody doing tonight? Let's get going on some stream. Hi Sa, hey Mark, how y'all doing? Awesome. Let's have a great night. Excited for Big Fat and Awesome. I'm probably gonna get muted for the rebroadcast, so just be prepared that this might get muted because we're listening to music they might give me shit about. So watch it live. Yeah, so we're just gonna kind of hang out and get ready and see how things go. Let people get in, get going, and yeah, we'll start. It's gonna be awesome night. Really excited for everything. So yeah, strap in, have fun, right? Cool. Yeah, so I'm pouring a drink. Hope everybody else is pouring some drinks. Some good times tonight. Cheers. How's everybody's week going? You guys happy it's Saturday? It's freaking great weather next week in Colorado. Anyway, it looks awesome. 80s all week, some 90s. Made a tea time for some socially appropriate distance golf at City Park 9 here in town. Take boy out on Thursday. Looking forward to that. Get a little golf in. Get a little exercise, a little outside vitamin D. Pretty excited for it all. So yeah, I think it should be a good time. I'm gonna move if I can. Yeah. Reminder to look at the camera, not look at my face. So just gotta hang out, see how things go. How yeah. Anybody here? Anybody talking? Cool. All right. So for those of you who don't know what we're doing tonight, we are cooking some stuff out of this wonderful book right here. This is a great cookbook. Fun read, not just for the recipes, which are like workhorses, classic bistro French food. Just very fun, very rustic. There's a lot of really good. Oh, nice. A lot of really good commentary in this book. Just lots of snark, lots of sarcasm, lots of just Tony being Tony, and I really enjoy, like, there's some really cool pictures of him when he was a lot younger. And just the food itself is cool. Like, it's food nobody does anymore because it's seen to be either outdated or old, or I don't know, people are always trying to think of that new thing, that next thing, but sometimes, like, it's cool to just try to focus on how can we just have fun with food that's been around and bring it back or elevate it or update it so that it makes sense. I think that's something that I really took from Tony, like post his culinary career, obviously, like for the latter part of it. I think probably a lot of people who are in chat might recognize or really be familiar with Tony as the No Reservations and Parts Unknown. A lot more of that tour guide, cultural explorer, food fiend, but also like really trying to open eyes that food is a great way to connect across culture and boundaries in life. But he was also a chef, and like his memoir, Kitchen Confidential, I recommend if you haven't read it. Can't recommend it enough. It's a great book. I own it on book on tape with Tony reading it. I try to read it, listen to it once a year. It's it's a couple hundred pages, a pretty quick burn through, but really cool stuff. Like, really gave me a lot of inspiration when I was a lot younger as a cook and kind of getting into culinary school and just like the career path. And I think that inspired me into some of the, probably to a fault, some of the choices I made when I was younger, as far as like work taking precedence across everything else, and head down, shut up, work hard. That I think to a fault, and I think that there's things to learn from that. But like, gave me a really appreciation for like how to make, just making bones and earning your time so that you can get to the point where you can do shit like this. It's a lot more fun. So, well, cheers to Tony, and hope that his family, and he's doing great wherever he's at right now. I know I'm not drinking beer tonight because I'm gonna make a giant steak, and we got potatoes, and I'm gonna do a frisee salad with lardon, and I got some gorgeous asparagus, and I make a béarnaise sauce. Like, this calls for a giant red. Like, I walked around the supermarket trying to be like, what do I want to drink? How do I want to go? I love wine. I have like it's where I started in restaurants. I'm from Oregon wine country. I was a chef there, did a lot of really cool stuff there. Hey, John. Yeah. Hi, Jen. Yeah, I kind of gonna vamp for a few more minutes, and then we'll get into stuff. This is gonna probably be a little bit longer than an hour, just because it's a little bit more expensive menu, and I'm just gonna let it kind of have fun. So don't feel like you need to stay the whole time. You can watch this later or whatnot. I'm gonna be cooking the food anyway because this is dinner tonight for the fam. What up, Jeff? How's Portland? Hope it's going good. Enjoying your furloughedness, hopefully, and being safe and babysitting and all that jazz. Hope your brother-in-law's doing good. But anyway, so I got the pleasure of working in Oregon wine country for a number of years. Got to do a bunch of really cool stuff, meet a bunch of winemakers, and like I love wine. I think wine is like a natural foil. I mean, I love beer. I think anybody who's in this chat who knows me at all knows that beer is definitely a hardcore passion of mine. But what up, Kramer? But wine's a lot of fun, and I think that like I'm a sucker for Oregon Pinots because they're food friendly and they're jammy and they're awesome. But Spanish wine is where it's at. Price for value for quality is always really top notch, I think. I'm drinking a 2017 Rioja. Just really nice, good fruit, good grape, good like a nice like berry note with like a hint of like black pepper. I think it's gonna be great with the steak because it has like enough body that fat is gonna be pretty awesome. Tonight's steaks, I went to Sam's Club and picked up some prime aged ribeyes. They're big and fat and gross, so we're gonna have a good time with that. I don't do this very often. I don't really splurge on that kind of stuff. I'm a skirt steak man if I'm eating beef because it's great for tacos. So yeah, so I kind of got some stuff already going because it takes a little longer for some things, and I just want to make sure that we can kind of expedite. We'll talk about this. I'm going to give it another 2 minutes, and then we'll start getting into recipes. I posted photos. If anyone wants copies of the recipes, I will take better photos, and I can send them to you directly. Just reach out. Most of the stuff might be available to find online too if you do a little search and just put a little bit of that Google work to work. So let me know. I'm more than happy to share the book once we're free of this space as well, like as long as you go back, because I love that book. So hope everybody's having a good time, enjoying, looking forward to that weather and everything. I made one change. I'm not going to do the chicken liver vinaigrette for the frisee. I have a nice Meyer lemon vinaigrette that I made a couple of days ago for dinner, and it's going to be great with this. But I bought chicken livers. I make a little chicken liver mousse because chicken liver mousse over some grilled bread, little capers, or some jam, or some mustard is a snack that the fat kid in me really loves. I guess sometimes I feel like I get back to that too fat Justin level, so we got to kind of build and have fun with it. Also, if you don't know me real well, now that the weather turns warm, I like to wear very bright, fun, fruit-centric shirts. So stream is going to be a lot of me wearing colors with fruit and other fun designs and graphics because it's warm out and it's dressed nice, right? So I think we're ready to go. We got drink in hand. Everybody's ready to go. I'm going to switch up from the Ramones because I think we need to maybe go a little bit different now. But hopefully we all like the Ramones. I did. It was great. I'm going to go into the Queens of the Stone Age because I think this fits a little bit more. We might finish with some Stones or some Deadheads and just kind of see how that goes. So feel free to use chat. It's how I know you're here and know what you're thinking. Ask questions. Would love to answer them the best I can. Within reason, obviously, if it's something a little more depth, hit me up offline, and I'd love to answer them the best I can. And I think from here, I'm going to move us down to the cooking space, and we'll kind of go from there. So without further ado, let's get going. All right, so cook space. We were a good time. So look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? This is just like just super gorgeous. So purple asparagus. I don't know. I don't ever buy it, but I want thick asparagus. That pencil size crap that you can get at Sprouts or King Supers for $2.99 all the time is not, in my opinion, not very good. It overcooks instantly. It doesn't have a ton of flavor, and there's no texture. It just becomes soft. Whereas this stuff, like you can just like it's sturdy. It's got some good density, and I mean the color is super gorgeous. So we're gonna talk about how to treat our asparagus and what we're gonna do with that. I got shallots. Here's frisee. Anybody who's not familiar with frisee? Frisee is a chicory. It's a bitter green. It comes in a big bunch with a lot of like dark green tops. Oh, good. I'm glad he is. This is like I love this lettuce. This is one of my favorite greens to eat. When I can get it, like when it's in season, it's like this nice bitter crunch. The outside dark green leaves you don't want to eat. They're really bitter and tough. So you want to cut those away. And you only want the tender, move you a little bit. You want the tender light green, like the lightest you can get with like, I have a couple in here. I have washed them in slightly warmer than the frisee water, and then I spun them in my salad spinner. If you don't own a salad spinner, you should invest in one. It's $7 or whatever at King Supers or Walmart, and it just goes a long way because you can wash greens, you can wash mushrooms, you can use it as a strainer because it comes with a basket, like multi-function tool. My favorite. Some more of that spring garlic is behind the asparagus. I got a bunch of garlic and shallots already peeled for all of the things. In this pot, I have some pork belly lardons. So Justin Wright of Two Fat Justins cured and smoked a bunch of bacon this last week, and we're going to start offering bacon on the virtual farmers market starting on Monday or Tuesday or whenever. It's awesome. Really great product. About a 7-hour smoke on it. I got it, my piece, in a nice brick so that I can make these nice uniform lardons for what we're going to do tonight. The stuff we'll be selling to market is already pre-sliced, about a 1/4 inch. It's a nice thick bacon. So what I have this in is a pot with some cold water. I'm just going to bring this up to a quick boil, and that's going to it's going to render out some of that fat. And so then when we go to crisp it later in a little bit of butter, you're going to get this nice crispy exterior, but like a nice subtle chewiness in the center of the bacon, which I think is a really cool texture because I think too often we get this like pure crunch or like kind of slimy fat, and this is a good way to find a good balance. Apparently it's moving that burner because we're smoking a little bit. So this pot of potatoes, I have russet and Yukons because I like the way russets absorb fat like butter without turning into glue. But I think Yukon makes the best mashed potato, hands down, because they're just crap. Cool. I have windows open, fans around. We're good. I like the mix because you get a little bit of that absorption, and then it won't turn to glue when we press it and we spin it. I've peeled and cubed them to about like that, so they're all the same size. So they all should cook at relatively the same time for our pomme puree, and then for béarnaise. So we're gonna start béarnaise. I have a little bit of sherry vinegar. I have some tarragon sprigs and some black peppercorns. We're going to reduce this down to what's called au sec, which is dry, but just a little bit of liquid, and we're going to strain that into a bowl, and then we'll talk about egg yolks and hollandaise in a little bit. So got that, mash is working nicely. Move that, and then here I have our steaks. So this is one ribeye, and I've taken the rib cap off and then kept the eye separate. I'm going to cook them separately because I love this. Has really cool muscle structure, and the way that it caramelizes just gets super, like, I love all of it. And then like I like this a little bit further done because I want that caramelization on the outside, whereas the eye, I want this a nice like rare plus. I like my ribeyes rare. I like my New Yorks rare. I like my tenderloins medium, just what it is. When I make tartare, which does happen from time to time, if I buy the meat same day and I trust the source, like this stuff, I will make my tartare out of like ribeye, not that tenderloin shit, because tenderloin doesn't have flavor to me. This is all good stuff to me. So I'm letting this sit and temper. You can also, if you have a vacuum sealer and a circulator, you can put this in a bag, Sam's Club, and you can set this in with some thyme, some garlic, salt, and pepper, and then you can go at 100 degrees in a water bath for a couple hours, and you can reverse sear. You chill it, pull out the bag, let it dry out, chill it, and then sear it, and you'll have this nice, like perfectly cooked seared steak. But I'm gonna go super old school today, so we're gonna temper these through the night because it won't take that long. They're about, I don't know, 1.5 inches thick, right? And we'll talk about that when we get to that point. And then from there, I'm also gonna cook some chicken livers and make a little mousse. So we're gonna start with that right now. I need those to chill. So I have a little pot, get this on medium, and we're gonna take. You like my new knife? Like my new knife? Yeah, this is nice, right? It's awesome. It's gorgeous. It's Glastane. This is a. I've already forgotten the name because I don't speak Japanese, but this is awesome. So I'm gonna take a little bit of butter, and I'm going to get this melting in our little pot right here, keeping an eye on everything else. I got my chicken livers at Whole Foods. The hell that was Whole Foods yesterday afternoon. Whole Foods on Friday afternoon is like a good place to get social anxiety now. It's good times. But when I buy chicken livers, I try not to buy garbage. I try to get free range, organic if possible, as animal friendly as you can, because you're eating their liver. So you want to make sure that it is the best quality you can get, because if not, like, I don't want to risk it. Like, I don't do this very often. So I've rinsed them really well in lots of cold water. As I go through, I'll pick out any sinew or any other things, but we have ways to avoid this. We're going to cook them in butter with some shallots. We're going to add a little bit of the red wine. We'll let that reduce, and then we're going to blitz it with some butter in a food processor, salt, pepper, a little bit of heavy cream, and then we're going to pass that through a fine mesh strainer, and then I'm going to put that into ramekin and make sure it tastes all good. And then we won't see. I'll post pictures as it won't be set until tomorrow, but I'm going to have it with some grilled bread, with spread on there like toast. It's good stuff. So a couple shallots. Because shallots are like just, I think, a really awesome, fun vegetable to play with. For me, they're ubiquitous for food, and a little bit of salt because I want that water to sort of leach out. I don't know if you can see, we're starting to see a little bit of steam rising, so we're starting to get a little bit of reduction here, which is nice. I'm about to start boiling here, which is great. I have a strainer in the sink to drain the water from. We're not going to keep the water. Bring it to a simmer or to a boil for like, I don't know, a minute, and then we're going to strain it, and then we'll deal with that later. And then, yeah, this is reducing, that's going. And then, so we're going to talk about asparagus, because once this is off, we're going to move. I'm going to pot of water here, and we're going to talk about blanching and shocking. Everybody familiar with blanching and shocking in chat? Anybody? Everybody's good with that? Do we need to talk about what that means, or? Because I can, like, I don't mind at all. I want to know what we need to. So asparagus gets really woody towards the stem. Fun fact, there's a lot of like wild asparagus that grows in Fort Collins. Along the Mason Trail train tracks, in the tracks themselves and along that trail, there is a lot of wild asparagus that grows. So if you're out for a walk and you're your daily constitutional and you're on that trail, keep an eye out. You might see some wild asparagus. Wild asparagus is a really cool flavor that you just can't get from anything that's cultivated like this. So the way to treat asparagus is you just go for the natural break point. Wherever it breaks is where it's tender. So from here, I'm just going to go through. I'm going to snap. Get a nice, satisfying snap out of them, like so. And I'm going to clean up those edges because we're going to talk about what I'm going to do next and this other knife on my cutting board and like how that's going to impact. So it's like a nice clean edge. If you're going through like a lot of asparagus, I did not. I got this at Whole Foods because I wanted to make sure I could get the size I want. Wild asparagus, you're probably not going to get that thick. Blanching and shocking. So I'm going to take a pot about that size of boiling water with salt, like not pasta salt, but salted. I'm going to take the asparagus. We're going to drop it in until the color brightens up and sets, but we don't want to cook it too long. So we're pre-cooking this essentially to a point where we've got a nice color and that we're still pretty al dente, a good crunch to it, but not like raw. And then we're going to pull it out immediately and go right into ice water, and that will shock it, and that will set that color. So we, especially with when we're using green asparagus or broccoli or any green vegetable, and you want to maintain that bright, like just that bright, robust green color that isn't like doesn't turn that army brown, gross, nasty color. This is the way to go. But make sure that you have enough water that when you bring when you add the vegetable to the water, it doesn't take forever to bring it back up to a boil. You want it to be fairly quick so that you want to go small batches, lots of water, because the longer it takes, you're just cooking. You just don't know you're cooking, I guess. So asparagus, we're going to look for this leaf right here. So this is a bird's beak paring knife because it looks like a bird's beak. Not a lot of use in most people's worlds for the bird's beak peeler. This is definitely a garde-manger culinary tool. Cool for peeling potatoes. I think I referenced Tournay last week for some of our fun friends in the back. That's what I spent most of my life. This is literally the bird's beak I got in culinary school forever ago because I just don't have a need to buy a new one. All right, so got a little bit of color. Foaming's done with the butter. We're gonna go right in with our chicken livers. Chicken livers, yum. Right, yum. Everybody say yum in the chat. Cool. We're just gonna give a little stir. And go here. I'm gonna add some salt. I'm not gonna add any pepper to this dish right now at all because I don't want the black pepper in right now. Bacon is boiling. We're gonna pull this off. See, boiling bacon, awesome. Go right into our strainer over here. For today, I moved our table that's usually you can set back over here because there's a lot of other stuff I'm gonna need. Turn this one down, move this one over, and we're gonna get some water going. I'm off screen, sorry. Hopefully you didn't see the top of my bald head. And if not, well, I'm back. Hi, y'all. So we don't want this. We're just looking to get these done. Like livers will dry out. We want them to have a fair amount of moisture. We're going to deglaze with some of that red wine, cognac, non-vinegar sherry. All would be wonderful in this. But I have red wine, and so we're going to use red wine. So back to our Tournay. Hopefully you can hear me. If you can't, we're not Tournay, but our peeling. Let me know. Sound good? Cool. So we're looking for the leaf. Pick a leaf that you want. I like to leave a little bit of that collar up to the head of the asparagus. So I'm going to take this leaf right here, and I'm just going to peel, using that as like a benchmark. So this is like super old school, very fine dining, very classic French style of pulling asparagus. We're going to peel this one off like so. You can also use, if you don't have a bird's beak paring knife, a wonderful offset or Y peeler works really well too because you can just do the exact same thing. Any peeler will work. I only use the Y peelers because I just like the way they work for lots of peeling. When you're doing a lot of production for peeling, it goes a long way. So we got a pot of water. We're going to add salt. And we're going to turn this one to high. And I have a lid. Yes, I do. Like so. So we're going to do this for the rest of this asparagus. And we're going to get this blanched and shocked. It's going to be great. And yeah, we're just going to have good times. Anybody have any fun anecdotes, stories, anything they want to share about their week in the chat for people to know what's going on? If you get a little too deep like that, you just gotta, there we go. Get that focus on, right? Anybody new in the stream? Anybody first time here? Anybody I don't know in stream? Good times. Anybody planting a garden this year? Been doing a little garden work? I'm doing a little tilling tomorrow. I'm getting some beds prepped for some starts to go in. I'm not nearly skilled enough to like actually do like from seed starts in my house because that doesn't sound like me. But I'm going to support some local and buy starts from different local farms. Gardens on Spring Creek is doing their annual sale again this year, but they're going to do like a curbside pickup for your order, which is really cool. And they're a nonprofit, so this is like one of their big fundraisers every year, and it's a good way to support a really cool garden space that is just, I mean, they do really cool stuff in the community for what it is, I guess. And then, yeah, what's up, right? I plugged your bacon earlier in stream if you weren't here. Hopefully we'll get a lot of sales for it. So we have some nice, clean, peeled asparagus. Look at that, gorgeous. Right? Everybody's feeling that's gorgeous. Cool. On a sec, I'm going to add a little bit more vinegar because I kind of lost it there for a second, but we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah, you showed me pictures of that salsa garden last night, Mark. That is super cool. I'm good to teach them young how to use hydroponic lights and stuff. Good stuff. As a joke. Hope everybody enjoyed my joke. It wasn't very funny. All right, so we got this. I got Frisee clean. We're about to make some hollandaise over here. It's gonna be good stuff. Pretty excited about all of this. So I'm also gonna cook some mushrooms. So my wife really likes mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms even a little bit, but so we're doing steak. I make a little like mushroom thing. I think she's gonna be get down on. Yeah, peppers for hot sauce. Yeah, you should hit up Bowman. He definitely knows the hot sauce world. He makes amazing hot sauce. It's almost done. I'm gonna get this pot going again with some water for hollandaise. So, everybody know what hollandaise and or béarnaise is? Everybody familiar with that? We talked about what this is gonna be, how fun this is gonna be for everybody who is me and you. Could you learn fun new things? Everybody good? I mean, you can eat all the mushrooms you want, so you can't convince me that they're good, like at all. Like I've tried so many mushrooms in my life. I can eat chanterelles. I love porcini. I like porcinis a lot. Especially porcini powder is real, or cep is awesome, especially like on steaks. Has a nice like really dope umami flavor. It's a textural thing. It's kind of squishy. Yeah, I love this mushroom. I love the flavors. I don't like the texture of the mushrooms. And those beers were phenomenal beers. Wish I'd remake those and bottle them and sell them in Fort Collins so I could drink them, because I think those would be really fun. But you know, scratch is a weird space for sure. Somebody can explain scratch to the chat. I think Olenek also really enjoyed the scratch beers from that GABF. What, 4 years ago now? Like crap, 4 years ago. So we're all set. I'm gonna go back on here like this. So I'm gonna turn my burner up. We're gonna strain. See, it's a little bit of liquid, tarragon, black peppers, good stuff, right? Cool. We're gonna strain out. I don't want the black peppers in my stuff because that doesn't sound good for anybody, right? So this is gonna provide our acid. We'll let that cool down just a little bit so that we're not scalding our eggs, which I definitely forgot to grab eggs. Cool. They go in my fridge. There's stuff in it. It's cool. You guys are good. Hello, Choice City for lunch today. Nice seeing them back. Good having a good sandwich again. Right? Yeah? Yes. The brewers are foragers. So I got a little bit of my liquid. I don't need a whole lot, so I'm just going to do a two egg yolk sauce. So 1, I'm doing it into the sink so that I don't make a mess everywhere, hopefully. Did you know that the Queens of the Stone Age did the credit music for both No Reservations and Parts Unknown? Fun fact, right? I think it's fun fact. Yes, they are weird and very good. So I got vinegar. I'm gonna go with a little bit of salt, and I'm gonna get some butter prepped because, well, hollandaise is a butter sauce. Everybody familiar with hollandaise? Anybody have any questions, concerns, issues, thoughts on the hollandaise front? Sorry, béarnaise, but béarnaise is so hollandaise is a mother sauce. Everybody familiar with mother sauce? Yes, no, maybe so. Cool. So mother sauces are classic French, classic culinary school thing where we just these are like what Escoffier and Carême, who are like the granddads of modern nouvelle cuisine, what we eat now, determine that these are the things that all sauces are derived from. Like we have found now that not found, but we've just kind of moved to the point where we don't need that kind of like heavy flour thickened, heavy butter, heavy, just they're just not very good for us. Butter, egg yolk, yes. So you want acid. Like I actually have a little bit of lemon juice I'm going to finish it with because I like the way the lemon juice balances the richness of the egg. But we have also a little bit of that vinegar. It's going to bring a little bit of different flavor for the béarnaise. So hollandaise and mother sauce. Béarnaise is what we would call a derivative sauce. So it's the same process that we're going to take to get to hollandaise. We are adding tarragon to it, essentially, is all we're going to do. So I have a lot of really got awesome, beautiful, fresh tarragon. Tarragon's a really fun herb, really soft, has like an anise, fennelly kind of flavor, licorice, like kind of like mild. Big fan. Like it's very like for me like tarragon, chervil, thyme, parsley are very like spring herbs because of just the way they taste and what the food memories they evoke in my life, right? We all live in food memories, right? So I got my egg yolks to starting, so I want to get this all whisked up. So we are looking to get this to lighten up a little bit. Make sure we have a good basis. We want to watch. So this is a double boiler. So I have a pot of water and I have a bowl that I'm going to set on top of. This is how we're going to cook, because if we were just to try and cook this in a pot, we're making scrambled eggs that taste like vinegar. Not really what we want to do. We want to make an emulsification. We're going to emulsify this butter into this liquid and these egg yolks. If I was in class, like I was in teaching like a culinary school class, what I would do is we would clarify butter. Clarification of butters. We melt butter. We skim all of the solids that rise to the top, because those are milk solids. We want to pull that off, and then we would chill it. We would take off the solid piece of pure butter off of it, and then we would discard the water that's at the bottom. I'm at a point now where I don't even mess around with clarifying butter for hollandaise sauce because I've been doing it for so long. I'm just going to use whole butter because whole butter is emulsification, and if you do it right, you can emulsify straight into your egg yolks. You just need to be careful of your temperature and how much you add. You don't want to bring your temperature of your egg yolks down too far because then it has a tendency to break. So, everybody cool on that? Did I speak a lot of stuff we just don't get? I mean, I understand. There's a lot there to kind of pick up on. And not really a novice recipe, but if you want, like I'm all about sharing and working with people on fun sauces. I think that learning hollandaise is really fun. Really loud. Working on that. So ice, cold water. gonna go right in with our beautiful asparagus. See, ooh. And then we're gonna go into our, you see our boiling water. Cool, cool, awesome. So we're looking for with the egg yolks, we're looking for them to start to thicken up a little bit, because that means that we're starting to cook them gently, and we want them to thicken. They'll get a little, like, the bubbles will disappear. I don't know if you can see there's bubbles. Hopefully my camera can catch it. The bubbles will start to disappear, and we'll get like a nice, like, ribbony texture. And that's what we're looking for when we start adding butter to it. So as you can see, like, this color is really starting to, like, we will cook some of the purple out because purple is just a growth color, and you will cook it out. So we're going to be really careful on how far we cook this, because we're going to finish this in this a little bit of melted butter and some lemon, and it's going to go really good with that béarnaise sauce. So looking, it's going to go a little bit longer on that. Everybody keeping up? Everybody's good? I'm not drinking near enough wine yet. One of these days, I really want to do either a beer dinner or a fun house party with buds, and like anybody who loves food and beer, and do like a steaks and sours night. So like where we just do so nice, like it's getting a little bit of give, and the bottom it's getting a little soft, but not too much. And so we're just gonna go right into our ice water, like so. And we're going to stop that cooking. So we're just going to set this color so that we have a nice, like, just gorgeous asparagus for later on. Turn this off for now. I'm going to use this later to cook the rest of the asparagus for fam dinner. I'm going to move this over so I don't have to walk this far. And yeah. So you see how we're starting to, like, see a little bit of thickness, starting to kind of look a little bit more ribbony. We get the butter, we still have a little bit of the protein foam. That will go away. Promise. It's got to be patient, y'all. Let's be patient. Chicken livers are pretty much where I want them to go. I'm going to let them kind of carry over in the background, and then I'll get the food processor out in a little bit. We'll talk about blending, and we want them cooled before we go anyway, so it works out. So this part, I'm just going to start kind of letting the butter start to melt for the mash. The pomme puree, because I want to. And when we are like, you don't do it already, you should always like make sure that your butter and cream are already pre-melted and warm before you make your mash, because then you're not cooling your mash down as you're making it. Just something that I recommend. I think it's just easier because reheating mash is kind of a pain in the ass. It holds temps so well if you make it, just keep everything hot and make it hot. So just kind of roll with that. Yeah, here we go. Look how thick that is. Can we see how thick that is? It's kind of sticking. So from here, I'm going to add some butter. I'm going to keep it off the heat because I think that we're a little too warm in the bowl right now. So I got 1 cube of butter in here. Just going to kind of whisk. You can also add a little bit of cold water to help thin it and temper the bowl down a little bit so we don't break our emulsion. The color's a little darker than I want, but that's fine. We'll make it work. We want some more butter. And then we're going to strain this again too. What's everybody drinking tonight? Can I get a sound off on beverages of choice for the evening, y'all? Yeah, good. Béarnaise sauce. We're letting that kind of come together just a little bit. I'm going to pull a little bit of this tarragon out because we're going to pick these and we're going to chop it. We're going to finish the sauce once it's done with a little bit of fresh squeezed lemon juice and some chopped tarragon to finish the tarragon with béarnaise. Sip of sunshine, nice. Chrissy boy, what's up, Ryan? How you doing tonight, man? So, see, we're already seeing some nice color lightening on here. As long as we continue to add the butter, we will see a good lightening of the color throughout the sauce. So, I think you guys can just try this in the morning, make a little hollandaise sauce. So you just do like egg yolks, a bit of water, or some lemon juice in your bowl, like in your double boil like this, and go with your butter. Poach some eggs, crisped up English muffin. You know what I'm saying? Little Benedict for a little Sunday morning home brunch. Post some pictures in the Facebook or on the Instagram. Love to see people going for some fun Benedicts and Sunday brunch. Maybe a little bit more butter. Nick Olenek, if you're watching, you should make some. I want you to make brunch for your parents. I want you to try hollandaise. You can text me with questions. That's right. I did that. Oh yeah. Tell us about your beer, John. Thank you for that, Si. Appreciate it. It was awesome. So now we got some good heat. We're getting some good, like it's coming together. Like it's emulsified. The textures, I love the way it looks. It's got a great texture. And we're just going to continue to, you'll see it thicken more as we continue to add the butter and it comes back up to temp. I mean, it's really good, right? Y'all, hope you guys are all like hungry or I don't know, not hungry. Fun tool that we're going to be using tonight is this. This is a potato ricer. I told him to make brunch for you guys tomorrow. Make a little hollandaise and some poached eggs for your guys' brunch tomorrow. Mark. This is actually called a potato ricer. There's also like a food mill. This one is like I think $30 at like Sur La Table. I think the kitchen or the cupboard has them. I'm sure Amazon has. I've had this thing for a very long time. This is how we're gonna mash potatoes. So you're gonna see a next level smoothness in your mash and just throwing it into your mixer or with your hand masher. This will be a lump-free kind of situation. Big fan. It just elevates your game a little bit without like a whole lot of extra work. And honestly, it actually makes work a lot easier because you're not like having to do a lot of extra like process, I guess. So we got, this is almost done. Like with the hollandaise, once it's done, it can sit like right here. Like you don't want to get hollandaise too hot because they'll just separate and turn into like this weird curdly mess. Anybody who's had a Irish car bomb, that curdle, if you're too slow, that right there is that is what is going to happen here if I get this too hot. And too cold, it'll seize and do the same thing, but it's just not what you want. It's gross. Yeah. So that's why hollandaise is really like kind of like, I generally don't get it out very often because it's a really good place like to get a lot of fun foodborne illness because the perfect temperature is like 125 degrees for hollandaise and burning any of these hot egg-based emulsions, which is right where bacteria loves to just go crazy on how fast it grows. And just doubles and doubles, and it's hard to trust the people who are like doing it right. So not very often will I go the route of a hollandaise in a restaurant unless I know the restaurant really well, or like I'm there early and I know they probably just made it. But if you're getting to brunch like at a kind of slower restaurant around like 2 and they get ready to close, that hollandaise was probably made like at 9, and it's probably not very good. Just saying. So look at that. And so this will thicken up a bit more. Let's let this temperature kind of continue, but we are stable. It's emulsified. It looks gorgeous. We're going to get a little bit of this tarragon picked and chopped into it. We're going to get some potatoes mashed here in a second because our potatoes are getting there. Aaron Clev, who's a bud, I'm not sure if he's in chat tonight, lent me, apparently Bourdain did a graphic novel that I was completely unaware of, so I have that for tomorrow. I'm looking forward to sitting in the morning and drinking my cup of coffee and enjoying that read. I think it's gonna be really cool looking. It looks awesome. There's a couple recipes in there. I don't know, good stuff. So we got our tarragon nice and chopped. Twist is coming together nicely. That's almost there. Cool. Questions so far? Everybody good? We having fun? Yeah. No? Cool. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody knows, but Bindle reopened this week for curbside and their delivery service again. Really excited. They have a couple new roasts on. They're offering up. I haven't seen some new stuff from them in a little while. So whenever I picked up a bag of their curry roast. This is from Rwanda. Natural process, a little strawberry lemonade and chamomile. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all this stuff, please. That helps. A, it helps give me motivation because that's the only way I kind of know how things are going. But B, like YouTube sees the metrics, and the small chance that this channel like becomes something like the people who subscribe goes a long way. And it's liking like just. I don't know, it looks cool, right? It gets more exposure out because the better it's reviewed, better it's liked. It gets on that autoplay for certain different videos if you're watching it. I have like 25% non-domestic viewership now for times viewed, and I think it's because of auto roll and autoplay stuff. It's crazy, like a whole bunch of weird back-end matrix. Hey, Warts, good seeing you again tonight. Had a good times last night. It was good catching up with y'all. So, all the butter is emulsified in here real nicely. We're starting to see a little bit of thickness. Everybody starting to smell like butter and eggs and a little bit of sherry on the back end. Good stuff. So as I go, I'm going to add the herbs in the very, very end because I want them to, I don't want them to brown. I want that flavor to be bright and just pop when we go to eat it. So butter melting, cool, mash is good. Take a moment and talk about the other pan in my life. Cast irons are awesome. This is a black steel saute pan. This is a 9-inch. These are super heavy duty. One of my favorite searing pans of all time. This is how we're gonna cook our steak tonight. And we're also gonna cook some mushrooms, so we'll work on that too. See, I don't like them so much that I've just like blocked them out. They're gone. I can't even think about it. Another thing you could do if you are you're making hollandaise way ahead of time and you're worried about having enough time to making sure the temperature stays right, is you can get a couple different size delis, or you can keep your double boiler. I'm gonna go with some delis and put a little hot water in this quart, and I have a 3-cupper. I'm gonna go right in like that, and it'll help kind of maintain that temperature without and then it's not just kind of hanging out in that burner between the burners. I'm not worried about it. Just a little more stable, I guess, for what I'm looking for. So a little bit of water at the bottom. There's 2 kinds of delis you can get. There are these. These are the ones that have like the gauging along the edge are heavy duty, so you can microwave them. You can do hot liquids in them. There are some that are like really thin. They just have like a lip with a lid attached. Those are not safe for hot liquids. They will melt almost instantly, and they don't microwave at all. Unless you enjoy eating plastic, which if you do, that's weird. And it's not fun for anybody. So I said for enunciate. So steaks coming up to temp, pretty close, pretty happy where we're at here. Our asparagus is nice and blanched. We're gonna get this out on some paper towels here in a second. It means that ice water to crisp up some shallots for the salad. In the salad, it calls for some baguette, which we'll have later, and toasting baguette is just making toast. And then some Roquefort. I actually have some really nice smoked white cheddar from Justin that I'm going to add to it. So I think that and the bacon with this nice bright Meyer lemon vinaigrette is going to kind of fit what my family wants to eat, and it just sounds fun and tasty. The popping in here from the butter, that is the water evaporating and boiling out from the bottom. So here we go. So we're going to take that's super good. A little more salt. We're going to get it in here with our, it's not in this one. It is in this one. Bench scraper. Turn that down, turn that off. Like that. Fun kitchen. So if you have like one of these little like pastry knives or bench scrapers of a bunch of different names, really great for like if you're trying to clean off cutting boards from chopped herbs, chopped shallots, chopped garlic. It's a good way to kind of get that off without like making your hands or like I don't want to scrape my knife on the board if I can avoid it because I want to keep my knife sharp. So, Bernays, we have, look at that, like nice, this would be called, we call this nappe. This is a French term that means that it coats the spoon so it holds, but it kind of has this nice silky texture. It jiggles the right way, it doesn't look too watery, right? Our door boiler, you're gonna go right in to our door boiler like so. I just kept going. Did I get on laptop? Nope. Cool. Yay! I lived to live another day, right? So keep that there nice and warm. I'm gonna add my cream to here. This palm puree is not for the weak at heart. This is a good place to find strokes, heart attacks, all of the good things in life that keep us going, right? So we're gonna flip our board. And we're going to talk about getting some bacon crisp up. So bacon, strained bacon with a little bit of butter. I'm gonna go on a lowish heat and get that crisping up. Yeah, and then now I pre-washed these earlier, mushrooms. I always wash your mushrooms. If they're like a wild mushroom, so they're like a wild mushroom, like a chanterelle, morel, porcini, like there's something that you're picking up at a farmer's market, or they just look a little more delicate than your white button, your porcini, your cremini, whatever that domestic. Get like a pastry brush or buy a brand new like 1-inch paintbrush and dedicate it only for food use and use that to brush your stems, your pine needles, your dirt off, because those mushrooms will absorb water, and for the price point that you're paying for that kind of mushroom, like chanterelles here are, I've never seen them less than $20 a pound. Don't waste it. Like buttons are everywhere. They are grown 2 miles from my house at Hazeldale all the time. Like these have a little bit more ability to withstand them, especially when they're like nice and the gills are all closed along the bottom here. This is a really nice, it's really firm. It's a pretty fresh mushroom. The older they are, this will start to separate and you'll see the gills underneath of it. Fun fact. So we'll get these chopped. I like to take one end off because I don't like doing this with mine. You could also use your mandolin if you want, but I don't need to because I have a nice sharp knife. So I'm gonna take my knife and just, so I take this one end off here. So I have a flat surface. Got my claw. When you feel it falling, you tendency to do one of these, right? And then these mushrooms are just killing me today. There we go. Butter's melting, so we're gonna start seeing some bacon rendering and crisping. And then we'll talk about how to cook mushrooms for this. I have probably a little bit different way of cooking mushrooms. I think it kind of defies most traditional thought. I like to do this route because I think that you get a better caramelization, because mushrooms are like all water and they're all very soft, and the cell structure is really like pretty porous. So if you just try to do them like you would saute anything else, you end up steaming them, and then you're not going to get a lot of caramelization. So we're going to kind of mess around a little bit. So my potatoes are done. Luckily, you can't see my sink off screen. It's good stuff. Got my nice strainer. This also doubles as my I blanked on my homebrewing term, but I use this when I'm doing homebrewing as well. Good stuff. So I'm gonna let these sit for a little bit because I really want them to drain out. I want no water in them at all. So from there, take a pan, and we're going to get this pan hot. Luckily, I have two of these, so we're going to cook the steak in the other one. We got melted butter that's almost where I want it with the cream to the temperature. We pull this off, and we have the closer burners to play around with. Drink. We prep a little bit of. I'm going to use this garlic for this. I'm not sure when to use that. I might cook out some of that garlic and add to the chicken liver mousse. We'll see. So I'm going to take. We found these heads of garlic at King Soopers on Timberline. Like, look at those cloves, and it's like just dark purple paper on them. The smell is amazing. These are gorgeous. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this garlic. I'll make sure everything's pretty ready to go, because the mushrooms go fast, and we want to make sure that we have everything ready, because if not, you don't want to be trying to prep for your mushrooms as they're cooking, because it won't be a good time. You're going to burn something, and you're going to get stressed out. So we're going to work on our mise here. It's getting really nice and ready to go. And we'll let that pan get nice and toasty. Meantime, we got bacon. Ooh, bacon smells good. Getting all cooked up in there. We have our butter. Remove this. Make sure that we don't. I don't want to lose that, because we put a lot of effort and time into making that sauce. So I just want to keep an eye on it, so I don't want it to die. I'm going to move this back to this burner. I want this burner because we're going to start working on some steak as well. Also started, got my paella pans this week. I don't know if y'all saw on the Facebook. So now I'm cooking paellas in actual paella pan and not in 10-inch cast iron skillets. They look awesome. So don't forget your paella. Shameless plug for my own stuff, I know, but it's my channel and you're here watching. So I have my asparagus, a couple paper towels out. Right here. And we're going to Move over here. Look at how pretty those are. Right? Aren't they gorgeous? Everybody say, ooh, they're so pretty. I'm going to take a little bit of shallot. I'm going to just go really thin slices. I'm going to put in this ice water so that they're nice and crisp and a little bit milder for the frisee salad, so I don't like have like an over dominant onion shallot flavor, because I want my salad to be like a nice balance of everything, because we have the bitterness from we're bitter from the frisee, and we have our fat from our lardon. We're gonna have a little bit of crunch from the shallot, and we're gonna have a nice, like, bright, fresh note from the vinaigrette. It's gonna be nice and harmonious, hitting those textures and those flavors and all those parts of the mouth really well. So I'm gonna get this going on medium-ish. Our steaks are looking good. I add a little bit of fresh cracked pepper to them as well. I don't do pepper early because it's like pepper isn't absorbing like the salt is. I want that salt because it's going to help dry out the top, and it's going to help get a better sear and a better flavor throughout. Flip. Yeah, that's all on the bottom side, so I'm not sure how much I got on there. Let that continue to go. All right, so this pan right here. This is our mushroom pan. See how I'm not gonna put anything in it. It's hot. I can smell the pan. Yeah, we're good. I'm on like a medium high for all those in a shitty electric range. We're gonna take our mushrooms. We're gonna go right in, no oil, no nothing. We're just gonna go right in like that. Then I'm gonna stir around a little bit. And you can start hearing. You hear that squeak? The squeak is moisture evaporating instantly from the mushroom. So we're getting instant evaporation, not it's leaching because it's coming out of the mushroom because it's not hot enough. And then we get that pool of water on the bottom of the pan. That's when we get that steamed slimy mushroom and not that kind of nice caramelized outside. So at this point, now I'm going to add my oil. And what you can still hear it squeaking nicely. Hard to hear it. I can hear it. Trust that it's there, right? Cheese curds? Where? I don't have any cheese curds. Gonna go in with our shallot and our garlic. I know I put away my thing and I talked about it. I'm doing it. Stupid. A little bit of salt. I'm gonna take one sprig of thyme. I don't want to chop it because I just want the flavor. I don't want the. Oh, I get it. Nice. I think thyme mushrooms is a great flavor. I also don't put any pepper in my mushrooms because I don't feel like it works. Like unless I had white pepper, maybe. Like weird. I feel like we just lost teeth there for a second. Interesting. I think fresh cracked black pepper is a little too aggressive for mushrooms. A little bit of white pepper is nice. It's a little bit milder on the heat. It hits you more in the back of the throat instead of up front. That's just personal. So you can see look at all that water. I mean, there's just so much water, right? So let that go right there. We're just gonna let that cook. We want that to evaporate out. Bacon starting to render. See all that nice fat coming out of there? Yeah, we're just gonna get some nice, good crisp. And now, ready to go with our steaks. I go in meat first, and then I add oil. I don't know why. That's what I do. And I'm actually not going to use oil today. I have some lard that I rendered from a pig that I butchered last year. I like the rendered lard. I like the flavor and the smell, and B, it has a higher smoke point than olive oil, or the olive oil that I'm using. So put a little bit over here. Let's let that go. I'm not going to touch this for a little while. I'm just going to let it caramelize. I'm going to look for some nice graying along the edge, meaning that we're going to cook up the sides before we even think about flipping or touching this. I'm not going to go much higher on the heat because I want this to sear while it's starting to cook. I'm not going to put this in the oven. I didn't circulate this at all. So this is a completely raw steak. I want to make sure that it cooks the way I want it to cook. And I only want to flip it once, because if I flip it more than once, I'm messing with how it's going to cook on the levels. So we're going to have that weird, cooked, rare piece, and it's going to not work out really well. Try to show you. We'll see how it goes. So our mushrooms are coming back up to heat. Those are done. So while we're searing and finishing, let's talk about potato ricing. I'm going to reuse the pot that I cooked my potatoes into to rice. And ricers have nice little hooks and stuff, so they sit really well on pots and bowls and whatever else you want to use them on. So go right over here with these things. I'm just gonna go right in. See the color from the russet and the Yukons? What's that? All right, that changed. We got a little steam on the camera. Is that what's happening? Can't tell if it's staying in focus or not. See, that's how nice and really consistent and uniform that shape is going to be for all the potatoes, and so that they will just come together so incredibly nicely. A food mill is like a bigger, you grind essentially through a mesh, like a mesh blade. Really good for you're doing larger volume, or you're looking to maybe make your own tomato sauce or other things like that. Works really well for that. But I think the price and the versatility, I don't see a need to have it unless you think you're going to be doing potatoes all the time. And if you are, more power to you. So I'm going to stir. Our heat's coming back. It's weird, we just lost all of it really quickly. Some really nice smell going on right now. Super happy with that. Liking how that's looking. I'm going to try and get this all finished up real quick. Pretty good? Having fun? Getting hungry yet? Anybody? Anybody? Chat's awfully quiet tonight. You guys just in rapture watching? Yeah, I'm getting hungry. I'm not gonna lie. Everything smells good. Looks good. Got some nice. I love doing potatoes like this. I don't do it very often because it's just so much more work. I can just throw some Yukons in the pot of water, and then I can just throw them in the mixer, and I have skin on Yukon mash pretty easily, and it's just easy for a weeknight when I want that. So this is kind of a special event, if you will. Oh, look at those colors. Look at that. You see the nice, good caramelization. That is a color that we like. If you had a little bit of white wine right now, I would hit that with a little bit of white wine. I don't have any white wine in the house this evening, so we're just going to add a little bit more of the butter, because butter is, it's a very French thing to use a lot of all of the time. And just a very restaurant thing to use all of the time. IMO. Finishing with butter just makes everything better. We're going to kind of just melt with some butter. And turn this off and just kind of let it come together. We're going to look at our steaks. Our steak. And that right there. Can we see that okay? I don't want to move it off the burner, but That is a gorgeous sear. Just really nice crust, like really. Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm gonna turn the burner down just a little bit. Nice. Finish these potatoes up real quick so that we can get on board. Are we doing good? So with the steak, we're gonna finish this. We're gonna baste it with some butter. A couple of different ways. Like everybody has like different methods of how they like to do this. There's a method like where you at this point we would pull it off after a good sear. You let it sit with butter, and then you would like let it rest with the butter, and then you'd finish it. Like I like doing it all in the pan like this. Personally, that's kind of my way. This is how I've done it. This is how I learned in the restaurants that I've done this in. So, kind of what we're doing. And from here, I got a spatula. We're going to go in with our butter and cream, aka Artec. And we're going to gently fold everything together. At this point, like if you wanted to kind of mess around, like chopped chives in here would be amazing. Truffle oil also would be equally amazing if anybody likes truffles in the stream tonight. You can also throw some shredded cheese in here, it'd be really good. I'm gonna throw this over here on this burner. I'm gonna turn it on low. We're gonna kind of cook out some of that moisture and just let it go. You'll see what I'm doing here in a second. So we got our steaks. I'm going to take out a little bit of this lard and beef fat because it's a little heavy with the fat. And then I'm going to, if I was on a nice gas range, this would be a lot cooler to watch, but alas, we can only do what we can do, right? So I'm going to take some butter. When I say some, I mean a healthy amount. I'm going to go in with some butter. Going with a little bit of shallot. And going with the rest of this garlic. Some thyme, like so. I'm going to get these mushrooms on this pan. So, like that. Like that's just a nice, like this, the color, you have some nice crispy edges. Just, I don't know, it's just a little bit different than if we were doing like just mushrooms like us the regular way. So I'm going to turn the bacon down a little bit. We're almost into that render that I like. Butter's starting to come together. We're going to let that butter down there a little bit. And we're looking to turn that butter into brown butter because that's going to allow us to, it's just going to add another level of flavor to the steak and help us render out some of that fat along the edges. That's going to be for our asparagus. I treat these pans like you would treat a cast iron pan, like a nice, like same kind of concept where you just don't have as much of that problem of it rusting like you would with a cast iron. You can season it in the oven like you would do, treat it the same way, and it will become essentially non-stick and it will love you forever. Let it kind of ride. So up here, got butter starting to melt, the shallots up here. Take this butter, and then I'm going to take this brown butter. I'm going to spoon it over the steaks. So we're helping with the garlic getting in the shallot, and the thyme is getting hit by this butter as it browns And so it's adding just a little bit more nuance and flavor. And since it's electric, I have to put it back on the burner. You can't see what I'm doing because I didn't move anything back down. Go back down. So I'm basting like so. Taking the butter. With the electric burner, I have to put it back every once in a while. I'll let the temperature come back up. I had a gas burner, and we would be. Can't wait to clean my fork. Yeah, looks good. Crispy bacon. Crispy bacon. Onto marble. So it's taking the butter, we're browning the butter, caramelizing the milk solids, so those little chunks, if you can see them on the shallot are. And we're just going to add this flavor. We're going to kind of roast toast the shallot, the garlic, and the thyme, and help render out some of this fat. I'm going to flip this around a little bit because I want that right there. And yeah, sorry, people are sending me stuff. I thought it was my little wife checking in on stuff. Pan down, pan down, pan down. Yeah, pan down. So we have shallots. Go a little bit more of the butter into this pan over here. And we're going to get this asparagus together. A little piece of the butter paper decided to not come along for the ride. So I'm not looking to brown the butter or caramelize the butter. I'm just looking for a lightly melted, and we're just going to like kind of warm the asparagus in the butter. I don't want to add any color. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Look at those colors. Say what you will about grilled steaks, like a seared steak that's been like basted in butter with herbs and garlic. Like, I mean, it's just awesome, right? Let that come back up to temp. Asparagus in here. And we'll talk about assembly here in just a second. Sound good? And we'll kind of put it all together. Hope everybody's having a good night tonight. Hope everybody's enjoying the stream. What should we do next week, y'all? Kind of been maybe go back onto the international world. Maybe we do a little street food. There was been some talk about maybe doing a little Thai street food snacky bits, kind of some fun stuff that we can kind of mess around with. The weather's looking pretty good next week. Maybe I'll attempt to do a. Sure, I'll cook some briskets for you tomorrow if you want to bring them by. I should have enough pellets for it. We'll see. Yeah, I got a whole other bag. We're good. This is something maybe we'll do I'm going to flip it over one more time for this last little bit. Look at that color. Everybody pretty happy? I'm happy. Crunchy beef fat, y'all. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Crunchy beef fat, y'all. Ooh, shoot that kimchi segment. Yeah, let's do it, Mark. I love it. And then you can bring me some kimchi. So I'm almost where I want my steaks to be. As far as like that doneness, like I'm not gonna talk about doneness. There's plenty of people who are better at describing it than I am. On the old interwebs, I would go to them before me on like what the doneness is. I just know where I like mine, the texture that the how it feels. I'm gonna take this. I'm just gonna pour this over the top. We'll let a steak rest. I like letting my steaks rest because I want to enjoy all the juices that are currently in that steak. Because I think that's better. I'm going to do a quick little wipe down because Well, got kind of gross over here. It's like my kid is cooking or something. Yeah, it sounds good, Justin, by the way. Yeah, I think maybe we'll try. Like, I'm not super familiar with Thai food. Like I eat Cafe de Bangkok because it's the best Thai food in town. Those who know. But also kind of been craving maybe trying like some noodles. Like we tried out the Beijing noodle over on Shields, kind of by where Mamaroni's is over there. Man, how they make their hand making their noodles in house. Super dedicated to style and it's super classic. Like I just super good. So I got a little bit of salt on our asparagus, a little bit of pepper on our asparagus. Both those are off. I'm gonna taste my mash and see where we're at flavor wise because at this point I want to make sure everything's good. Oh, they taste good. A little bit of salt. They're rich. They're decadent. They have nice, great potato. Like you get that butteriness from the Yukon, but you get that more like I don't know, like that potatoey flavor from the russets. I don't have a better descriptive word, unfortunately. My adjectives are down. So everybody doing good? We're getting there. Everything's coming together. Thanks for hanging out for the extended version of tonight's stream. Hope you all are drinking. So from here, I got my lemon vinaigrette, and we're going to make some salad. I'm off stream, you can't hear me, you can't see me. I like salads and bowls. I have these fun bowls. You saw the other bowls on the ramen night or on fun night. This is a nice salad bowl. So I'm going to take my, I'm not showing you, sorry, you just have to look at my face. I'm gonna take my frisee to have under a nice cold, damp towel. And if it sits out too long, refreshing some ice water goes a long way. Just make sure you always have like a damp paper towel on top of when it's in the fridge. Make sure your fridge doesn't have weird frozen spots. I found out I had to cut up a big chunk of this because of a pretty aggressive freezing because my fridge has weird cold spots. So this Meyer lemon vinaigrette, I just juiced a bunch of Meyer lemons because they were super cheap at Trader Joe's and Sprouts, and I needed the zest for the beer. And so once you zest the lemon, they don't last very long because you've destroyed their protective shield and they just dry out. So I just juiced them all. Inside is minced shallot, a little bit of ground mustard powder, helps to emulsify so you get like a little bit of a dressing effect. Salt, fresh cut pepper, and then some a little bit of olive oil. I'm gonna add that to my salad like so. Take some of these lardons like so. Yeah, looks good, right? We're gonna toss together really nicely. This would be really, really good with poached egg. This salad would be amazing with poached egg. Or a slow egg. If you have a circulator, you can do those nice slow poached eggs in the shell. Hard-boiled egg, if that's your jam, also be wonderful in here. I think it'd be great. I recommend it. Adding eggs to anything and everything is a pretty good way to go. I mean, we're adding egg to our dinner by adding hollandaise or béarnaise to our sauce. We throw this back in the fridge so we don't lose a little more. Justin Wright also has occasionally has smoked cheeses to buy, so you can hit him up offline. He does a wide variety. This is a Tillamook extra sharp white cheddar. It's amazing flavor, and I think it's gonna be really good with the salad. So I like salads and bowls because it gives you a focus and a center point to the dish. Like I think that when you're looking at a salad that's in a bowl, like you're always looking at where you're at and where everything's together. So I'm just gonna move it down. I'm gonna try and mess around that shit. So we have a nice frisee. Like I'm gonna have some grilled bread in a little bit. I'm not doing that right now. Like just this nice, like crunchy, bitter tart, fresh, smoky, fat. Like this is like everything. This is gonna be this is a nice way to start. This is like brings up those senses like an aperitif. This is what we're looking for, right? In our dish. So from here, I'm gonna put this over here because I don't have a ton of room in my room. Move this. Actually, I'm gonna need this. Move this. And then, or oh, shouts, shit. Come on, chat. You're supposed to like help me out here. Come on, guys. Now there's shallots on it. We're good, right? We're good? Good. Awesome. All right. So we are. I've got better plates for this. Like a nice, like charcoal colored plate would be bitching for this plate. I'm gonna move this out of the way. I'm gonna get another board up. Because I want to do this on a clean board. So we got. So not use the chip plate. Whatever. Basic white. We got that. I'm not doing anything super fancy with this plate because I wanted this to be very just like. I wanted this to show. I want everything to pop. I wanted it to be the thing that it is. Oh yeah, this steak is. So I'm gonna take the rib cap because this is my dinner, and if I cut it early, I can deal with that. And I'm gonna just cut some nice. I like to do bias pieces. I don't like to send out steak like unsliced. I think that it. I don't know. I like the way I like slicing because then you're not having to do that. Would you like to cut into that, sir, and make sure that steak's done to your liking? Like I hate that shit. Like just do it. Like and then it makes my life easier because by now I've had a bottle of wine and a cocktail and whatever. I just make my job easier. So do a nice, gorgeous red center. Still a little warm, but that's fine because I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna go right on top like so. And then, everybody good? Everybody having fun? 2 minds of this, like you can take and do a ramekin on the side of the hollandaise, like a nice little dish or something, so that you can dip, or you can just be like, I'll ham it and just kind of let that shit go. Because why not? So that is our Côte de Boeuf for one, with our classic asparagus, plum puree, and béarnaise sauce. Homage to Tony and Le Hall and all of the awesome stuff that it has done in my life personally, and hopefully in others, and I'm sure in others, and touch a lot of people for sure. Thanks for coming. I really enjoyed all of tonight. I have a pretty aggressive mess to clean up apparently now. I love that you guys are all here. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, throw some comments on into the video for the post, or even hit that Facebook group up. If you're a member of the Cooking with Beer or whatever I have left group on Facebook, I recommend and encourage you to join. Like I really love that to become a community for everyone to share ideas, talk about the cooking, drinking, whatever, because this is I'm baking bread. I know a lot of you guys are making your own bread now, which I want to, but I'm not feeling it. I'd rather do this than make bread personally. And then next week, I think we're gonna do a little bit. I think Thai food could be fun. Like it'd be nice out, or we're gonna grill. Like we might go outside and do some fun grilling. I don't know. I'll think about it. Any suggestions? As always, throw them on the Facebook page. Hit me up offline. DM me, text me, whatever. I'm all about trying new things and trying to make it happen. So y'all have a great night, great week, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.